In a tale of love, creativity, and betrayal, Emily shares the heart-wrenching discovery of her fiancé's secret disdain for the meaningful crochet dolls she gifted him over their years together. This revelation leads to a confrontation revealing cultural beliefs, broken trust, and the power of self-worth. 4 years ago, in a whirlwind that felt like something straight out of a rom-com, Emily, met Dave. Our story began in the most unexpected place, a cozy little coffee shop downtown where I was trying to master the art of crochet while sipping on my third cappuccino. Dave walked in, his presence commanding the room, yet his smile was as warm as the autumn sun. Our eyes met, and the rest, as they say, was history. He was 23, a beacon of confidence and stability, while I, at 18, was still navigating my path, my heart full of dreams and my hands full of yarn. Fast forward to the present, and here we were celebrating another year of his life just a few days ago. Birthdays had always posed a challenge for me, especially when it came to Dave. With him being more financially stable and me saving every penny for my post-graduation degree, I had to get creative with my gifts. I've always had a knack for arts and DIY projects, and Dave seemed to appreciate my homemade efforts, particularly my crochet work. So for every birthday since we started dating, I crocheted something special for him. This year, I poured my heart into making a crochet doll of us hugging, a tangible representation of our bond. In the past, I also crafted a scrapbook filled with our memories and boxes of love notes, simple tokens of my affection. The only relatively expensive gift I ever managed was a pair of sunglasses that cost me $50. Dave always assured me these were the best gifts he'd ever received, his words echoing in my heart, a sweet melody of appreciation and love. However, yesterday, my perception of our shared moments, of our entire relationship, shattered into a million pieces. My laptop chose the worst possible time to break down, leaving me no choice but to borrow Dave's for a school project. As I worked, a message notification popped up from his best friend, Becky. The preview read, "Please tell me you threw away those hideous dolls she gifted you." My heart sank, curiosity and dread intertwining, leading me down the rabbit hole of their conversation. "Not just threw, I burnt them," Dave had replied, each word a dagger to my heart. I couldn't stop myself. I scrolled through their exchanges, each message a testament to their mockery of my efforts. Dave had called me cheap and a grandma, scoffing at the idea of anyone in our generation appreciating crochet. He even dismissed the sunglasses, the one gift I thought had breached the financial gap between us. Becky's comments were merciless, egging him on, her words crueler with each line. My boyfriend, the man I loved, not only entertained but agreed with her disdain. Their conversation had started innocently enough, discussing plans for the weekend, but it quickly spiraled into a ruthless critique of me and the tokens of love I had painstakingly created. It was as if the Dave I knew, the man who had looked into my eyes and called my gifts the best he'd ever received, was a stranger. As I sat there staring at the screen, a part of me wished I had never seen those messages. But the truth, as painful as it was, revealed the depth of deceit and mockery that lay hidden beneath the surface of our relationship. How could the man who held me in his arms, who shared his life with me, harbor such disdain for the expressions of my love? How could I reconcile the Dave I loved with the Dave who laughed at my heartfelt gifts behind my back? The comparison between my crochet dolls and Becky's extravagant VR gaming set gift only added salt to my wounds. It felt like a knife twisting in my heart, his praise for her over something so materialistic while he dismissed the time, effort, and love I invested in my gifts. The confrontation was inevitable. The moment had arrived for me to hold Dave accountable, to demand an explanation for the pain he caused. My heart pounded as I approached him, the words I had rehearsed tumbling out in a mix of anger and disbelief. "You burnt my dolls. Didn't you even read the notes attached to them?" The shock in his eyes was evident, but it was nothing compared to the storm brewing inside me. What he began, but I cut him off, my voice shaking with emotion. "Pray to God it doesn't start making things go wrong for you. By burning the dolls, you destroyed their protection and activated the curse. May God help you." I watched, a bitter sense of satisfaction mixed with sorrow as Dave's face drained of color, his usual composure crumbling under the weight of his superstitions and my words. In my culture, the dolls I crafted each year for Dave were more than mere tokens of affection. They were talismans imbued with intentions of protection and prosperity. Each doll had a specific purpose, one for his health, another for his wealth, one for the well-being of his family, and the last to safeguard our relationship. These details, these crucial elements of their significance, were all meticulously outlined in the notes that accompanied each gift. By burning them, Dave had not only disrespected our love, but also dismantled the very essence of their meaning. As I laid bare the gravity of his actions, explaining how each doll was a guardian of different aspects of his life, I saw the realization dawn on him. The fear in his eyes was palpable, a stark contrast to the dismissive attitude he had previously shown. Dave was deeply superstitious, and the thought of having inadvertently cursed himself by destroying the dolls was more than he could bear. However, for me, the heart of the matter lay not in the dolls themselves, but in the blatant mockery and lack of respect they represented. The broken trust and the pain of being ridiculed were far more devastating than any physical loss. It was a betrayal that cut deep, challenging the very foundation of our relationship. In the heat of our argument, Dave attempted to apologize, to offer excuses for his behavior, but it was too little, too late. The revelation that he valued Becky's gift solely for its monetary worth only served to underscore the superficiality of his appreciation. Our relationship, it seemed, had been built on uneven ground where materialism outweighed genuine affection and respect. Ultimately, I made the decision to leave Dave. The realization of my own worth, of the need for respect and understanding in a relationship, became my guiding light. Despite his apologies, the damage was done. The trust we once shared had been irrevocably broken. As I walked away, I couldn't help but reflect on the irony of the situation. Looking back on everything, I find myself wondering if I made the right choice and if ending things was the only way to preserve my self-respect. It's a question that haunts me, even as I share my story, seeking solace and understanding from those who might listen. So, to those reading this, I ask, what would you have done in my shoes? Did I make the right decision, or was there another path I could have taken? While you're thinking about the answer, here's another story you might like. Picture this: you're me, Meredith, settled into a life that feels as cozy and predictable as your favorite old sweater. At 32, juggling the joys and chaos of being a wife and mom, I've got my hands full, but always thought I knew the ground I stood on. Dave, my other half, and I have weathered our fair share of storms, coming out the other side with our hands clasped tighter. But here's the kicker: life, as it turns out, loves a curveball. Just when you think you've got it all figured out, along comes a weekend that's anything but ordinary. A discovery seemingly minor throws everything I believed about trust, honesty, and the life I've built into question. All from the comfort of my own, supposedly tranquil domestic life. Let's dive into this, shall we? It was shaping up to be another uneventful weekend. The kind where the biggest decision I'd face was whether to tackle the laundry or surrender to the allure of a good book. That was until my phone rang, its shrill tones slicing through the Saturday morning calm. "Hello," I answered, trying to mask the grogginess in my voice. "Meredith, it's Jeff from the office. I hate to do this to you on a weekend, but we've hit a snag with the Anderson project. We need you here, ASAP. It's all hands on deck today." Jeff's voice was apologetic yet firm, the kind of tone that allowed no room for negotiation. My heart sank. "Okay, Jeff, give me an hour. I'll be there." The words felt heavy, resigning myself to the reality of lost leisure. I glanced at my husband, Dave, sprawled on the couch, deep in the kind of sleep only night shift workers know. His recent job, with its odd hours and even stranger secrecy, had become a source of contention between us. He's working at some part-time gig. I had confided in my mother, Camilla, more than once, but won't tell me where. It was a mystery, one that irked me more with each passing day. My mother, always the beacon of wisdom and strength, furrowed her brows in concern as she processed my words. After a moment, she replied, "Meredith, that's unsettling. A marriage should have no secrets, especially about something as basic as where one works. Have you pressed him for details?" I sighed, the weight of my frustrations evident in my voice. "I have, Mom, but every time I try to bring it up, he just changes the subject or makes it seem like it's not a big deal. But it is to me. It feels like he's hiding something, and it's worrying me." "Darling, it's not just about finding out what he's hiding. It's about trusting each other and being open. Let him know that his secrecy is hurting that trust," she advised, her voice a mix of warmth and wisdom. With a sigh, I nudged myself back to the present moment and dialed my mom's number. "Mom, can you watch the kids today? I've been called into work unexpectedly," I asked, hoping her usual resolve would come in handy on such short notice. "Of course, darling. I'll be right over," she responded, her voice a steady anchor amidst the sudden shift in my plans. With that settled, I readied myself for the day, unknowingly setting the stage for an unfolding drama that would challenge the very fabric of my family life. 2 hours later, the world I thought I knew was rocked by a single phone call from my mother, her voice tinged with an urgency that sent a chill down my spine. You have to divorce him immediately. My mother's voice, usually the epitome of serenity, was now charged with a distress that was almost palpable, searing through the phone line and igniting a firestorm of emotions within me. What are you talking about? I demanded, my voice a cocktail of disbelief and rising panic. The words felt foreign, as if I was hearing someone else speak them. In the background, Dave's muffled protest fought to break through. Put the phone down, crazy lady. It's not what you think. His voice, usually so sure and steady, now sounded desperate, edged with a plea for understanding that did nothing to quell the turmoil inside me.